Worship leaders and worship musicians. I have coached bands for over a decade, from little kids in summer camps all the way to the university level. And I follow 5 rules for every band practice I oversee to make my band rehearsals smoother, faster, and more efficient. Let's talk about it. Hello, welcome to Blueprint Sounds. My name is Nathan Smith. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk about how to make your band practice more fun and more efficient by following 5 simple rules. But before we do, I want to give you something for free. Go to my website, blueprintsounds.com, and there you can get access to a free 45-minute workshop called 5 Elements of a Full Sounding Worship Team. It takes you through how to build a full sound from the bottom up: bass, drums, acoustic, electric, piano, synth, all of it. It gives clear distinctions for each instrument's role and what everybody is doing in the band so that people don't accidentally do other people's job or double up, or it gives everyone a language for understanding how to play their best. So if you're looking for some extra help for your worship team, go there, blueprintsounds.com, and look for 5 elements of a full sounding worship team. All right, let's get into today's topic. These are 5 things that I do in every band practice that I run, whether I'm leading or just coaching, that make things work better. And here they are. Number 1, everybody taps their foot. It seems really simple, but often I find vocalists tend not to tap their foot, or some other instruments like keyboard may get caught flat-footed. I make sure that it is a priority, and I do this constantly. I am constantly telling my band to tap their foot. The reason why? Sometimes I'll come in and listen to a band do their first run through of a song, and it seems lifeless and it doesn't have any groove, and they're really not committed to it. And I'll look down at their feet, and that answers my question. They were giving me the recital version. They were phoning it in. They didn't have any life and rhythm and movement. There was no swing in what they were doing. So I coach them on it. We have them tap their feet. I have them listen to what the drums and the bass are doing. We do it again, and all of a sudden, there's that it factor that wasn't there. Well, the thing that wasn't there was the groove. And young players often forget about those basics because they're so worried about other things, their own part in playing it. So I make sure that everybody taps their foot because that gets them physically agreeing with each other in the same room so that they can fulfill that common goal together. So that's rule number 1. Everybody taps their foot. Rule number 2 is linked to that. We don't even start the song until the stage is rocking. Think of a song that has a stacked arrangement where maybe you start with a piano and a vocalist, and we all know that by the second chorus, everybody's going to be in drums, bass, electric guitar, keys, that kind of thing. What young bands often do is they often have to play catch up with the rest of the team, right? So your piano player and your vocalist start, but maybe your vocalist is really feeling it because it's kind of a ballad. So he or she elongates their notes and doesn't stay on rhythm as well as they should. Well, then the piano player is trying to compensate and they start following the vocalist, and then you lose some tempo. And then by the second chorus, the song feels flat and lifeless and it doesn't have that same pop that it should have. Well, that's because not everybody was on the same page before the song started as to what our tempo was. And this is a trick I learned from Victor Wooten, who's a very famous bass player. I was at a workshop and he said something so profound and so simple that I thought, I should probably keep tabs on that. And that is this: treat it like the music is already happening. That is such a big departure from we're the ones who make the music. If you're acting like you're going to jump in a stream and a river that's already running, that's a much different attitude than turning on a garden hose. And in music, we want the whole band from the very beginning, from the downbeat, to act like this song had already started and they were just joining in. That means that you'll be tighter, you'll be in from the beginning. Whether or not you're playing, everybody's committed. If we just pick up the stragglers as we go along and add pieces, I guarantee you that your band will sound flat and not have that same pop that they should. So that's rule number 2. We don't even start the song until the stage is rocking. Rule number 3, when in doubt, sing the chorus. Oftentimes what happens is people will start the song and they didn't really have a clear picture of what the tempo was supposed to be. And so if that first run through didn't work, I stop everybody. I said, okay, lead singer, sing the chorus how fast you would like to sing it. And they sing, and I said, everybody tap your foot. All right, stop singing. Everybody keep that foot going. Now let's begin the song. The difference is huge because we have to keep in mind the chorus is the payoff. The chorus is the thing that matters most because we're going to sing it multiple times. That intro and that first verse, once it's gone, it's gone. We're not going back to it. So you better make your chorus special by having that in mind from the beginning. And I'll add to this, I even do this myself when I'm leading worship. Let's say that I finish a song and we've got the die out, the last chord is sustaining. Right before I start that next song, I take a half a second and I look down and I sing the song in my head. And I get that tempo in me centered before I start it on acoustic. Because oftentimes what happens is from one song to the next, if you're not on click, the worship leader, if they're coming off of an exciting song, will start the next song that maybe is a ballad too quickly. Or if it's a ballad, they'll start the next song too slow if it's supposed to be a more up-tempo song. So take a second. This is especially true when you're on stage. You have to have that instinct built in that I'm going to take a half a second. I'm okay, but I need to get the chorus of the next song in my brain before I even start the song. Tip number 4, count off twice. So if you're working on just a section of a song, hey, let's jump right to verse 2, or let's go to the second bridge before we go back to the chorus. Always count off twice. So if I'm counting people, I go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go. I don't 1, 2, 3, 4. I never do that. Here's the reason why. Inevitably, the bass player is trying to scribble a note down on his or her sheet music. The vocalists are maybe laughing together and thinking about something else. The guitar player is thinking about chips. Nobody's paying attention. 2 measures gives everybody time to center themselves and really do it for real. When I see bands use 1 count, inevitably what happens is somebody won't have been ready, and then they train wreck, and then they have to start over, and they wasted more time. So always count off twice. Even in 6/8, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we go. Because again, that gives everybody time to get whatever they were doing done and get centered and start together rather than having that tripping up all over each other. Number 5, transitions deserve eye contact. I'm specifically thinking about the endings of songs. And this becomes really important if you play with click or a multitrack. If you're on click or multitracks, you might have listened to the last 4 rules and thought, well, we don't need to worry about that because we're on click, so we all know where the beat is supposed to be. Au contraire, just because you know where the beat is doesn't guarantee that your band was playing together. It just guarantees that they were all playing to a click. That's not the same thing as playing together. And this last one, endings, it's more important that if you play with a click, you keep eye contact with people. So let's say you are playing with a click. You've got your in-ears in, you're looking at your chart, you're hearing 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very isolating. It's sort of a, hey, I'll see you at the end. Let's both hope that we finish this song at the same time. You have to force yourself to maintain eye contact and community with the rest of your band, because those in-ears and that click, it really puts you in a tight space, right? You're not hearing the congregation, you're not hearing everybody. And so what happens is, inevitably, we get to that last part and then there's a change. Either the vocalist wants to go for a third tag when there were only going to be 2 and you have to make a change on the fly. Or there's a retard, right? We get to the end and we're off the click and okay, when do we end? Well, if you haven't developed the habit of looking at your drummer's sticks to see what things are doing, or looking at your music director to watch his or her head as it comes down, you've only got a split second to make that call. If you haven't been doing that throughout the song, and if that's not ingrained in you, you're going to miss it. So it's really, really important that when you show up on Sunday morning, and you get set up before everybody starts practice. You look around, and the important people in your life, the musical director, the drummer, if it's the worship leader in front of you, you better have a clear line of sight to everybody who matters. And if you have to shuffle half a foot or whatever to get into a line of sight, do it now before that song comes where, oops, we better look at each other, right? Make sure that you have that already, and make sure that you are already doing that with your team. I've showed up on Sunday mornings as a guest player, and maybe I'm playing bass, and I actually have to train my drummer in real time that we're going to make eye contact, because sometimes he's so busy with his multi-tracks that he forgets to look. And a bass player and drummer have to be together or else the song won't work. So I am very, very over-expressive in my eye contact. I'm like, hey, drummer, we're looking at each other, right? Because I'm going to need you later on. So that's the fifth one. Make sure that you have eye contact, especially at the end of songs where things can get a little bit dicey. So let's review. Number 1, everybody taps their foot. Number 2, don't even start until the stage is rocking. Number 3, when in doubt, sing the chorus, because that's what you're aiming for. Number 4, count off twice. Always give 2 measures before you start a section. And number 5, endings deserve eye contact. Follow those 5 rules, and I guarantee you that your band will start getting tighter and you'll have better and faster musical rehearsals. Hey, I hope that helps you as you practice with your team. If you're looking for more help, make sure to go to blueprintsounds.com and check out my free training, 5 elements of a full sounding worship team to make your band sound even better. All right, until next time, God bless and goodbye.